Labour has collapsed to 14% in the polls, while Reform UK surges week after week. Has Starmer running scared? In this video, Alex Armstrong and his GB News panel discuss Starmer's fear and his outrage against Reform UK. We share the key moments from that discussion, plus one leadership principle, vision, that shows exactly why the public is walking away from establishment politics in droves. Before we get into the details, if you love diving into political issues and enjoy hearing a principled take on them, then hit the like button, share this video, and subscribe to join the conversation. It will help our channel reach a wider audience.
I think Keir Starmer is an utterly delusional gaslighter.
A Conservative government, I can sleep at night. If there was a right-wing government in the United Kingdom, that would be a different proposition. My worry is, and this is how history tells us, is that a right-wing proposition like that, with fantastical ideas, leaning towards Russia, if it gets into power, it will find that its policies don't work, and it won't become more progressive. It won't nudge towards the centre. It'll go to the right, to the right, to the right. We've not faced that in this country ever.
What? Hang on a second. Has this bloke looked in the mirror anytime recently? Isn't it Labour that scrapped 2 national elections now? Is it not Labour that's decided to push through digital ID without any electoral consent by the British public? Isn't it Labour that's scrapping jury trials, joining Nazi Germany, Stalin's Russia, Mussolini's fascist Italy, and Mao Zedong's communist China?
To begin, firstly, their economics is pure fantasy. They've just got billions and billions of pounds that they say they will either spend or save without any plans to do so.
Is he living in a completely alternative reality? Weren't he and his Chancellor just met with a nationwide chorus of people saying, "You lied to us about the state of the public finances"? Hasn't his government blown the economy to pieces and set record high taxes, inflation running wild again, unemployment rising every single month after promising to do the exact opposite in Labour's manifesto? Is that not what Labour have done so far? Is it not Labour that targeted the vulnerable with tax and energy policies, leaving pensioners freezing and the people that feed us, our great farmers, with an uncertain future?
They do not want to live in the tolerant, diverse country that we are. I'm proud that we're a diverse, tolerant, compassionate, live and let live country, and I want to represent all parts of that.
Ah, yes, our diverse and tolerant country under the Labour Party. How could I forget? How could I forget? A country that now locks people up for hurty words on social media. A country that now gives free rein to anti-Semitic hate marches up and down the country. A country that now allows screams of jihad and intifada on the streets, while Jewish football fans are banned from games in Britain on their watch. I don't know about all of you at home, but I'm completely fed up with feeling gaslit and lied to by the people sitting in Downing Street, who are meant to, at the bare minimum, tell us the truth, even if we don't like to hear what they have to say. But the sheer gall of this Prime Minister to claim other political parties are a threat to this country, when actually, in my opinion, this is the most dangerous, Orwellian, incompetent and divisive government in British history. I saw this interview the Prime Minister had done with The Economist, and my jaw just hit the desk. I was like, what am I watching a man who isn't even living the same world as me? Because everything he's saying is so bad about a man who's never been in government, Nigel Farage, and the Reform Party that's a new party. His government have already done all those terrible things, in my opinion.
I think we might have agreement on the panel on one point, okay, and probably one point only this evening, and that is that the government's job is to serve the people. This government, under Starmer, appears to want to enslave the people through digital ID, not in the party manifesto, never put to a referendum, for example, and there's going to be huge pushback against it, I'm sure, I hope. And the abolition of jury trials for thousands upon thousands of cases. An absolute cornerstone, not only of our criminal justice system, but a fundamental of our society. That if the establishment chooses to lock me up and accuse me of a crime, that I would therefore have the right to be tried by 12 of my peers, 12 members of the public, not an establishment figure.
I certainly agree. That's one of the most shocking things that's come out of the last few weeks. And we heard time and time again. And I think one of our good friends who was on this panel with us, I won't say their name, Peter, but you know who I mean, saying, it looks like they're backtracking on it now. We're sort of happy about that as a Labour supporter. Now, Matthew, we know that that's going ahead, unfortunately. The Prime Minister...
To a limited extent. I mean, it's not the abolition of all jury trials.
Yeah, well, it's under 5 years, is it? Under 5 years?
It's under 3 years.
3 years. Still quite...
So it's gone from 1 to 3, if I'm right.
Either way, it's not a good look. It's very bad communication from the government. However, this sort of weird dystopian world we're living in, that the government seem to be quite content with digital ID, which has got massive pushback from Labour Party activists, by the way, still going ahead, and he's sitting there calling reform a threat.
Well, because he believes that reform is a threat to the politics that he believes in. I mean, I think I would rather we weren't doing, as a country, having to do the reduction in the number of people who can opt for a jury trial.
Well, and this is the problem. They have constantly, in my opinion, misled and misguided us as to what their intentions are before government, now during government. So I don't trust them when they say, your digital ID is not going to track you, Laura.
I mean, it's the deception which is so difficult to manage with this party. Look at digital ID. They know it's unpopular. They tried it before in a different government. They don't put it in the manifesto and they immediately bring it forward. They say it won't track you, and maybe they will try to track you, but look at the number of government leaks we see from the NHS, from the health service. It's constant. It will happen. And on juries, if you're going to take away a defined right that we've had in this country for 700 years, you need to run with that on your manifesto. I do not believe this is the answer to the backlog. Look at the backlog. We've got 90,000 cases. Why is that happening? The CPS, which is underfunded and overworked and not particle information, helpfully. You've got the translation problem. A lot of cases now need very specific translation, which we can't provide. And you've got the incompetence of the prison service, who aren't providing criminals from their cells to trials. That's not going to be fixed.
We can answer all three of those.
Yeah.
I mean, particularly
The thing is, even if you prosecute them and you put them in prison, they'll be let out by accident. 2 a week at the moment, Peter.
But this is so important, and it's not just the backlog. If there was some imaginative thinking, creative thinking, and you got the courts that are sitting empty, working, and if you extended judges' working hours, and there are so many other practical steps that would be taken by a forthright, robust government that would get a grip of the criminal justice system. You imagine you walk into a shop and you get unfairly accused of stealing something, let's say a phone worth £1,000, for example, and you are denied the right to go to jury trial. You could be, through a miscarriage of justice, convicted of a crime you didn't commit.
Good point.
You would, in all likelihood, if a judge decided your guilt, lose your job, you could lose your home, your relationship might crumble, you might lose access to your children, and all because of an autocratic government that wants to abolish jury trials. And one more point while I'm on it, which is really important, and not one commentator has raised this. If you've ever served on a jury, there will have been times, most likely, when you will have been sent out of the court while a point of law is discussed. Okay, it's happened to virtually anybody who's sat on a jury. During those points of law, matters are discussed about the admissibility of evidence a lot of the time. And sometimes a judge will hear conclusive evidence as to somebody's guilt or somebody's innocence, but it may not be, it will be excluded from the trial. So the jury will never hear it. So we are expecting judges to unhear what they've heard, to dismiss that from their minds, and then come to an impartial decision. No one's mentioned that, and that's a deeply worrying thing.
I didn't know that, so it's really good bit of information there. But, we talk about some of these free speech cases, Peter. We talk about them a lot here, and there was a Labour councillor who was cleared by a jury. Had some of the other people in these free speech cases, I think, had a jury, I think the jury might have come to the exact same conclusion.
As the Telegraph reported, Reform UK rises in the polls, with Labour crashing to just 14%. Starmer keeps doing his rounds, telling everyone Reform has no clue and isn't credible. He told the Economist he doesn't want Reform in power because they would move further right. He even claims Labour is a centrist party, while most people know that they are a far-left party. Yet, rather than listening to the public and adapting, Labour has chosen a different path. Instead of coming up with new policies that would actually pull voters back, Starmer and Labour just double down on the same failures. They see the people rejecting their ideas and still decide to go further and faster down the path of decline. This raises serious questions about their priorities, especially when it comes to some of their biggest policy decisions. One of Labour's biggest blunders is lying to the electorate to push through tax rises for welfare spending. Starmer keeps bragging that his greatest achievement is taking children out of poverty, while pushing policies that keep their parents stuck in poverty. Any sensible person can see that makes no sense at all. And it's not just in policy where the establishment seems determined to defend the status quo. The BBC jumped in too, wheeling out an illegal migrant with an earpiece and cue cards to try and trip up Reform UK's Zia Youssef in BBC Question Time. Pure establishment protection racket. Shouldn't true leaders rise above this kind of defensiveness? Real leaders lead on vision, not on vilification. Strong leaders spell out what they are for so clearly and so well that they almost never have to spend their days telling you who they are against. The best defense is a powerful offense of your own making. When your policies and your vision actually work for people, you do not need to waste time and money smearing the other side. Only weak or panicked leaders do that because they have nothing positive left to sell. So here's a challenge for Labour. Why not use that energy more constructively? All the time Labour wastes on smear campaigns would be far better spent going around the country asking people where they have gone wrong and fixing it fast. But no, they are the establishment now. They think they get to dictate what the people should want, so they don't care what the people actually think. This disconnect is starting to look deeply concerning. Labour is starting to look like an authoritarian regime, talking about cancelling elections, scrapping jury trials, pushing digital ID with no mandate, planning to police what we say online, and rolling out mass surveillance that was never in the manifesto. In contrast, there's a growing alternative that focuses on practical solutions. Business people from every sector are piling in to join Reform UK because they are offering practical, common sense solutions that will turn Britain around from the disaster Starmer and Labour created. Those solutions are resonating with the British people because they are positive, clear and practical and will actually fix things. The government owes the country better than this. It's time for the government to stop gaslighting the country. Stop being Orwellian and indecisive. Stop acting dystopian. If you have benefited in any way from this video, please subscribe, like, share, and be sure to leave us a comment.